a warrior, certainly a champion of children, families, and education, amongst other things. And not to mention, she's a pretty strong supporter of unions as well. So this afternoon, we're presenting Congresswoman DeLauro with this Friend of Education Award. We don't give one of these out every single year, but we're certainly giving it out with heartfelt thanks and encouraging words for you as you continue on your journey. We appreciate all you've done. And the only thing I'm going to ask personally is, I have a copy of your book. So I would love it if you'd give it a little bit of an autograph for us, okay? All right? So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because most of us know who she is and what terrific work she's done. So Congresswoman DeLauro, come on up and tell us.
This is beautiful. I gotta tell you, I get a lot of awards, a lot of plaques, but this is really special. Look at this with these kids. It really is beautiful. Thank you so much for the award. God, I love it. I love it with the stars. Anyway, God, thank you very much. And it's wonderful to be here with you, and I'll be repetitive of being here in person. God, what a joy. It's so liberating. You know, it's like free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty. God, in any case, wonderful to see all of you. And again, thank you for the introduction. Thank you all of you for the board of directors and what you do on behalf of teachers and what you do on behalf of children. And I have to acknowledge Don Williams, really, you know, a longtime friend. It's great to continue to work together with you, Don. And I thank you for your leadership, commitment, and you know, the commitment of yourself and others to make our schools safe and accessible and open. And as we continue our community, in our community to reopen our schools. And thank God, I'll take a second. And Steph, it's good to be with you. Thank you for the role of special education teachers. It has been one hell of a year. Yeah. One hell of a year. And I worry about special ed kids. I really do. I think about how their lives have been disrupted, you know, their socialization, their learning, you know, progression. And Tom, thank you. Thank you very much for everything. So to recognize all of the CEA members here today, I am a strong union supporter. You have built the middle class in this country, and thank you for it. Thank you so much. And the award really means something very special, because I don't take it as a reward for past actions, if you will, but I take it as a call, really, to continue fighting, to continue that battle of trying to make a difference in the lives of our children, of our teachers, and our hardworking families in the state of Connecticut. It's a special honor indeed because of the past recipients of the, you know, Thomas Mondani, a Friend of Education Award. I think about Joe Courtney. I think about my brother from a different mother, my mentor, Senator Christopher Dodd. And listen, in terms of, you know, who Tom was and the formative leadership at CEA, and for his years of commitment and advocacy for teachers. So I really do accept the award on behalf of all teachers, students, of those who serve in our public education system. We could not have made the gains we have made without all of your support. And you know, I've always believed that a good teacher can help a student develop the skills that will last them a lifetime. You don't only improve a child's life, but the lives of everyone that they touch. You know, growing up in the city of New Haven, my teachers were a crucial part of my education, both inside and outside of the classroom. And every child deserves to have this kind of an opportunity, regardless of their race, their ethnicity, their zip code, their wealth, disability, or first language. Every kid needs an environment in which they can thrive. And that's what you do. And I'll just say, so often, teachers have been scapegoated, you know? And it bothers the hell out of me as it bothers the hell out of you because of what you do and how you do it. And even most recently about whether or not going back to school, the kids need to be safe, the schools need to be safe, and our teachers need to be safe. That is what we should be about. You know, and again with regard to education, and I'll just say, my dad only went to school to the 7th grade because coming as an immigrant, he couldn't read or write the language when he came, and they laughed at him when he couldn't, speak the language. My mom went to high school at night, so for them, the issue of education, of getting education, was the route to success. And education is the great equalizer. It opens doors, it opens opportunities, it's jobs, it's higher wages, it's a better life. But it can only be a great equalizer if and only it is affordable, if it is accessible, and if it is achievable for all. And that's why I believe it's the government's role to provide opportunities for people. That's our job. You knew that, Don, when you served in the legislature. It's our job. It's our responsibility. It's a moral responsibility to provide that opportunity for people and to work for the common good. And the federal government has a central role to play. And that's why we need to be committed to providing every child with that opportunity and the accessibility of a quality public education. And I say public education, and I say that proudly. And aren't we glad that Betsy DeVos is gone? Aren't we glad? Yes. Wow. Lordy. And I've had many conversations with our new secretary, someone who you all know, and it really is a breath of fresh air, and he's so well regarded already in Washington by my colleagues. So, last year I had the really humbling and the honor of being elected to chair the Appropriations Committee, the House Appropriations. Coming full circle, and it's one of the greatest honors of my life. And I also chair, because I wasn't going to give it up, the chairmanship of the Education, Labor, Health, and Human Services Subcommittee as well. And this is where I believe, and what we can do with the appropriations bills coming up, we can build the architecture for the future of our nation's future with regard to making serious investments in education, so that our system and our students can compete globally. And we have the opportunity to do that now. Because when people say we have to go back to normal, there is no normal before this pandemic. There isn't. We're not going back to normal. We've got to move for the future because we watched systems collapse. We watched an unemployment system collapse. We watched our public health infrastructure collapse. A child care industry collapse in this country. We cannot do that. We have to use this time to make the investments and to create the strength, particularly in our education system, in order to be able to move forward. And I believe that our schools, our teachers, and really students have been struggling for far too long. We are the richest country in the world, and it is unconscionable today that we still have teachers who are forced to take money out of their own pockets to buy paper, to buy pencils, and even provide food for students. If you can imagine, the richest country in the world, especially with regard to food. We have such an abundance. We are a land of plenty. No child and no one in this country should go to bed hungry at night. And it's unconscionable, again, as I said, that teachers are footing the bill in some of these instances for their kids. And during the pandemic, amidst all of the challenges that it presented, we were further reminded of the critical role of our teachers
and the role that you play in providing a quality education that leaves no one behind. Time and again, teachers stepped up, and often with little warning, and they adapted to the changing landscape. They modified, they condensed the lesson plans, they brought creative, innovative techniques to find solutions that ensured that learning never stopped. You know, had I been charged with dealing remotely, I don't know what I have done. I'm probably one of the least capable people when it comes to technology, you know. But you did it. You did it because of, not because you had to, but because of who you are, because of your values. It's why you chose the profession that you are in. That is what made you do it. So, but again, I think you would agree that the pandemic also highlighted persistent weaknesses in our education system and exacerbated inequities. It is unacceptable that schools and school systems that predominantly serve students of color are often considerably more underfunded than the schools that serve white populations. It can be. It can't be. So I stand with you today to make good on a promise to forge a real partnership between the federal government and our school districts, the state, educators, parents, so that the needs of every student in Connecticut are met. And together, it really is, in my view, the only way forward. We have worked closely with a new administration. Again, what a difference. Elections have consequences, my friends, and you understand that very, very well. And with that, we delivered on a transformational $1.9 trillion package, the American Rescue Plan. It's $170 billion to help K-12 schools, colleges, universities safely reopen and help to accelerate learning for students that have been most impacted by the pandemic. And House Democrats, what we included was a maintenance of equity provisions to protect low-income school districts from disproportionate cuts by states like we saw during the Great Recession. That maintenance of equity is critical, so the money is not diverted and you are left high and dry. It includes a provision that I am so proud of. I have championed this effort for the last 18 years. That's the expansion and the improvement of the child tax credit. As the research tells us, but you understand it on a day-to-day basis, living in poverty reduces a child's readiness for school because it leads to poor physical health, motor skills. It diminishes a child's ability to concentrate and to remember information, and it reduces attentiveness, curiosity, and motivation. And that is the crushing, what poverty does in crushing young people and kids. And you know, I was told by the woman who heads up something called Turnaround for Our Schools, where Pam Cantor, she was brought in to talk about the effect of 9/11 on students. And what she found was that it was crushing poverty that had its biggest effect on what was going on in the lives of our kids. So we can't expect children to succeed if they're hungry, or if they're studying in the dark, you know, or with a flashlight because the lights have been turned off. The child tax credit offers a lifeline to middle-class families, and it will lift 55% of kids in this country out of poverty. For me, it helps kids to succeed in a classroom. You know, for me, it's like please misunderstand, this is not self-serving. I had the opportunity. I hadn't been at the White House for 4 years.
Can't understand why.
It was okay by me. But when I did go with all of my colleagues who were chairs of committee and with the leadership of the House, and I was one of the last to be asked to speak. And the president and the vice president were sitting under the portrait of Franklin Roosevelt. So, you know, after everybody's speaking, you're trying to figure out what the heck you're going to talk about here. So, but I knew I went with a mission to talk about my appropriations bills, but also to talk about the child tax credit. And I looked at the picture of the portrait, and I said to the President, Franklin Roosevelt, with the stroke of a pen, lifted 90% of the seniors in this nation out of poverty through Social Security. You and the Vice President have the opportunity to lift kids, millions and millions of kids out of poverty in the United States. You can do it with the stroke of a pen. And damn it, excuse me, it's in the American Rescue Plan, and we're going to make it permanent. We are going to make it permanent. So, and we are working with the administration on an American Jobs Plan, and that includes funding to rebuild K-12 schools across the country. The American Families Plan includes really groundbreaking proposal, universal pre-K, makes crucial investments in our nation's teachers. And so it changes and improves the lives. That's why I talk about we can't do what we've done in the past. It's got to be new. It's got to be new investments for the future. And studies show that children attending universal pre-K programs do better academically in later grades. And so investing in pre-K plays a critical role in ensuring that our students are equipped with the tools they need to succeed, and they do it early on. I have to also mention the President's 2022 budget. A willing partner. Should I say, we have a willing partner in the White House. And we have the House and we have the Senate, though the margins are slim. So, but when it comes to robust investments, the administration is there. The request includes $102.8 billion for education programs under the Labor HHS subcommittee. You understand why I wanted to keep that subcommittee? That's an increase of $29 billion. That's more than a 40% increase above where we are now. And you know, look, you know and I know that it's not enough just to throw money at a problem. So it will be my job to ensure that the dollars go to those who need them the most, particularly those schools and students who come from underserved communities. And I promise you that I will continue fighting for all of you and for the kids that you teach, and fight the way that you fight every single day for our kids in Connecticut. We don't shy away from the fight. None of us have ever done that, not for our youngsters and not for education. That's how you make change. You know, Shirley Chisholm is one of my heroes, and she was the first African-American woman to sit in the United States House of Representatives. She was a former teacher, I might add. And let me just quote, she was asked, how do you make progress? The press asked her, how do you make progress? And this is a quote. She said, you do not make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. And none of you complain or whimper. You do what we all need to do, and that's damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. That's the way we make progress. I don't know what to say beyond thank you doesn't capture really my feelings for all of you and for this honor. I'm so proud to be your ally, excited about what our future looks like in working together and continuing that partnership and advocating for students, for teachers, and when you look at those children and you see the environment that you provide and their eyes get big, you know, and you look and you create a new world for them, because it's true, not for this year, but besides their parents, children spend most of their time with teachers. So that You have such an impact. You make such a difference in their lives. God bless you. Thank you for everything that you do. And we are willing partners together. Thank you so much.